film that you've been using off of the printer in the lab, I would suggest that you only use film from that roll because it affects your exposure time. Okay? So the exposure time that I'm telling you today is for this film that comes off of the roll in art and design. Okay? If you use a transparency from Kinko's or a transparency that you printed yourself or whatever, the exposure time will be different because the density of the film and the density of the ink is different. Okay? So to make things easy on yourself, I would only use the film from art and design. Okay? Or black paper. Right? Like we've been doing in class. So black construction paper that completely blocks out light, or this film. Okay? Alright. And the film, use this film to expose this screen. What's going to happen in the areas where there's black?
It's going to stay white.
It's going to stay white. Or be a negative space.
It's going to stay soft.
It's going to stay soft and wash out when I wash it out. Right? The emulsion will stay soft. It will not harden where there's black. So when I'm done and I wash it out, there will be a hole, right, an open area on the screen where the black is. Yeah? Okay. So I will come over here, on here, right? The three that you will use are vacuum switch, what is this called? Safe light, and this wheel. Alright? When you turn the safe light on, that's the first thing you should do. That little yellow light comes on. Right? This helps you register where you want your negative. Right? It just helps you see the negative. Okay? This negative is placed on the screen, right reading. So what you look on the exposure unit should be how you want your design to be read. Right? So right reading up. You take your screen, you place it on top of your negative, and that safe light helps you position the negative on the screen. Okay? If registration isn't important to you, you can just kind of eyeball it. Right? Like I'm kind of eyeballing where this design goes on my screen. Okay? But if I wanted to make sure that my design is perfectly straight on my screen, I could turn my screen over, turn my transparency over, and make sure that it's lined up on the screen how I want it to be lined up. Okay? And you can put a little piece of tape to secure it on here, and then turn it over. Okay? That way you know the exact position of the image on your screen. Of the exposure unit. Okay? And make sure that your design is right reading, that what you look at is what's going to be printed. Maybe close up this exposure unit. The exposure unit, and there's two notches on here. You always use the top notch. Do not use the second notch and try to force it down. Alright? Use the top notch. And then close it. Alright, once you've closed the exposure unit, you turn on the vacuum switch, which will make a vacuum in here that will hold the screen tight down to the plate. Okay? So you turn it on and you listen for when the sound changes. So listen. see it's suctioning. You hear that sound change? Alright. When that sound changes, this is held in place. It will not move, right? So you know that your negative is flush up against your screen. Okay, and it's held in place. Then you turn the light on. So if you turn that light off, yeah, go ahead. And you turn this dial, you'll see the UV light come on. And you can turn it back on. And you time this for 1 minute 30 seconds to 1 minute 45 seconds. Okay? Can somebody time?
I got you.
Okay. Okay. So I turn the vacuum off once my time is up. And then do not, once you turn the vacuum off, do not immediately lift the lid. Okay? Wait for it to de-suction a little bit before you lift the lid up. Okay? It helps keep this rubber piece lasting longer. Alright, so this is now exposed. Alright, and now we have to go wash out the part of the emulsion that did not harden. Okay? So exposing it to UV light for 1 minute 30 seconds to 1 minute 45 seconds is enough to harden that thin layer of emulsion. Okay? And so whatever's black on here will now wash out. Okay? So we're going to wait for that person to be done and we'll go wash out. So you can step outside if you're hot. Expose. Because in here right now is UV light from the sun. Okay? So you want to go ahead and wash this out as fast as possible. So what you do, put this on the ledge. Okay? Take this hose and spray lightly. You're all going to get wet. Okay, so wet both sides. Okay? That stops or helps stop. When you wet it a little, it helps stop the exposure process. Okay? Then you remember where your design was on the screen. And you spray water to wash out the part of the design that wasn't exposed. That's about as much washing or pressure as you should use. Okay, you do not want to spray this at full force because it might blow out the part of the screen that you want to stay hardened. Okay? So you want that much. About that much pressure, so half pressure on the nozzle. Okay? And so I spray a little, and then I hold it up to the light to see if the emulsion has washed out. When the emulsion has washed out, you can see light pass through the design. Can you see that? Can you see where the light is passing through the design? You see that it's open now? Okay? Can you all see that? Yeah? Alright, and then you check your design to make sure that all the parts that you need to have washed out are washed out. And if not, go back and spray some more. Oops. Sorry,
No, you're fine. Can you get close to the window?
No, you're fine. Okay, so it looks like all of the parts that I need to wash out are washed out. Okay? You do not want to